Hi Virgo, welcome to your Uranus in Taurus special with me, Raphael Ray from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining me. So, the one that everybody is buzzing and going mental about at the moment, and why? Well, the reason being is because Uranus takes an entire lifetime, 84 years, to go through the entire zodiacal wheel. I love that word. It's so, yeah. I haven't even got words for it. You know me by now, guys. I'm a bit of a dork. So yeah, Uranus takes 84 years to travel through all of the signs. So for most of us, it will only ever travel through a sign once within our lifetime. Uranus is the planet of change. It's the planet of rebellion, revolution. It's about technology. It's about, and when I say technology, I mean, everything from social media to, because this glyph actually represents a satellite, and it talks very much, because it's the modern ruler of Aquarius as well. It talks about all of the higher octaves of thought. It's about things that are different, about things that are, higher concepts, higher consciousness. It's a youthful energy. It can represent electricity. It can represent blasting, explosions, all of those kind of things. But also, in terms of its rebellious nature, the reason I feel we rebel against anything is whatever our programming or our conditioning happen to be. When we rebel against something, it's an external factor or an external imposition. And when we rebel against that, it's usually because that thing doesn't resonate with us. It doesn't resonate with our beliefs or who we are at a core level. And Uranus is about liberation. And the reason it's about liberation is because that's why we rebel. We rebel because we need liberation in some way, shape or form. So Uranus into Taurus. So modern ruler of Aquarius, and then you've got fixed Earth, Taurus. Couldn't be any more different to Aquarius, and that's why sparks are going to fly with this one. Taurus represents the Earth. It's slow moving. It rules the second house in astrology, which is all to do with our values. It's what we care about. It's what we, our self-esteem, our self-worth. It's how we feel about the environment. It's the environment itself. It's food, it's agriculture, it is, our physical body as well. It's about slow movement, about slowing down. And so these energies are really going to clash, and it's going to create massive changes for us, in terms of the world itself, in terms of the monetary system, and how technology starts to rule the monetary system, how secrets might come out about the monetary system. All of that stuff is going to go on. Taurus is a sister Earth sign to you. So this is going to be kind of trining you at some points as well, and anything that's happening in your first house, especially if you're an ascendant Virgo. For the sun, not so much. Well, I say not so much. For the sun and the ascendant Virgos, this is going to be quite apt. For the moon sign, take it or leave it. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. For those of you that are a Virgo moon, let me know how it plays out for you. So Uranus in Taurus, it's a big deal, and that's why it's a big deal. Just a little rundown for it from you. So this is going to be taking place in your 9th house, and your 9th house is connected to travel, foreign cultures, the law, legal matters. It's also talks very deeply about study, about philosophy, about higher wisdom and higher understandings. What better planet then, really, to have in your 9th house? Because this is the planet of the higher octaves of thought. The 9th house is the house of higher wisdom. So this could see you being prone to some really big sort of understandings of ascribing meaning to things, because this is the Jupiterian house. It's the house of Sagittarius, the 9th house, and Sagittarius searches for meaning in everything that it touches. That's one of the reasons travel is such a big thing to them, or seeing foreign cultures, or the interaction of foreign cultures, because when you interact with things that are vastly different to yourself, it changes your perspective, it changes your viewpoint, and you start to philosophize and theorize about things, you know, and that's where the interaction comes from. You know, you could have startling, now could be a really, you know, this transit could really be a powerful time for you to study law, to study legal matters, to study, you know, different spiritualities from different places, to study foreign cultures, to study languages. You know, to learn a new language, you know, of a foreign culture. This whole 7-year transit could see you really accelerate what you take on board in your 9th house. It can also, I've got my trusty notes here that I've written. Your 9th house will be activated with this transit, and it could spell surprise travel plans, interaction with foreign cultures, and spontaneous need to study, you know, and really, this isn't going to be about the kind of study that's like, oh, you know, I just skim along it. And this is going to be about you searching for the deeper meaning, for the higher understandings, for the stuff that is privy to only the minds that really focus on and meditate around these subjects. The 9th house is all about higher wisdom, learning, philosophy, and even law. It's about all things that make you grow by expansion and your understanding. It's about the search for meaning and the journey you go on to find that meaning, hence the travel. So finding yourself, you know, spontaneously being invited abroad, or, you know, wanting to plan a trip of a lifetime, or saying to yourself, do you know what, I don't know why, but I've got this urge to go to whatever you fill the end of that sentence with. That's all going to be a part of this. You know, Uranus, like I said, it's change, and it's quick change, but it's also spontaneous. It's like Aquarius, it's spontaneous and erratic, and, you know, just goes with what it feels, just like the air. You know, Aquarius is an air sign. Thought is fast. It's, you know, it travels through the air, you know, like your synapses and the electrical impulses and stuff. It's all of that, and it's quick. So you might find yourself getting surprise invitations, but you might also find that you have these spontaneous, burning, deep desires just to get up and go somewhere. You know, don't feel like that it's, one, don't feel like it's not possible, and two, don't dampen it down for anything or anyone. If you can go, if you can plan a trip, and for some of you, I feel like this is going to be you planning a trip of a lifetime that changes everything. Because when you get to the other side, when you get to the other side, the journey that you've gone on will have taught you God knows how much, but the interaction with the people and the culture at the other side will change you forever. These people in true Uranian style will challenge your beliefs, force you to look at whether those beliefs are limiting and whether they are truly yours or they are those that you have inherited. So the other thing as well, the 9th house represents your belief structure. That's why it's got strong links to religion. That's why it's got strong links to all things such as. And it's going to ask you to really get to grips with what your belief structure is. And with Uranus there, you know, the blasting and the explosive nature that it has, it may very well see you changing your belief structure or completely obliterating the one that you have and having it replaced for you, you know, by your grounded, practical reality, you know, that you interact with. So when you get to the other side and your environment, Taurus, is completely different and you're out of your comfort zone, you then have to, you know, the things that you're used to, or the belief structures that you have, or the programs and the conditioning that you have in place, they're not going to work in these places with these people, with this different culture, with this different understanding of life. And so therefore that will break. It will be the cracking of the illusion. And talking about the cracking of the illusion, Uranus represents the Tower card in the tarot. For those of you that have been with me for quite some time, you know what that means. The Tower card cracks and breaks all illusions and liberates you. It's not an easy process. It's a very challenging one. When you have your Tower moment, everything that you thought you knew cracks in two, and it reveals a brand new truth. And therein lie the beauty of the tarot card of the Tower. Yeah, so therein lie the challenge, really understanding and learning about your belief structure and where it might change and evolve. This is never easy, especially when these have been built up over a lifetime. When your belief structure has been put in place and created and built up over your entire life, to have it suddenly, you know, and Uranus comes in, smashes the door open and says, right, we're changing this shit. and just throws it in, you know, and it does so in 7 years. If you're, you know, an older person, if you're an older Virgo or Virgo rising, you know, this is going to be like, shit, okay, everything is up in flux, you know, wow, okay, you know, that everything that I believed my entire life is suddenly different. I now have a different approach to it. I now have a different grounded and practical Taurian understanding of it. The 9th house transit of Uranus will ask you to rebel against any ideology or philosophy that does not sit right with you at a core level, and it may even see you disagree with the law. Now that's going to be an interesting one. It doesn't mean that you will be arrested or get yourself into trouble, I hope. Your reaction to situations, if you don't agree with something, one of the things that is kind of universally understood but not spoken about, when you are in somebody else's country, you abide by their laws and their rules. And just because you don't necessarily agree with something, doesn't mean that you should cross it. It could also work the other way. You could see in your own country of origin something that makes you think, actually, do you know what? I don't agree with that. That should be against the law. I don't follow or subscribe to that idea of the law. And it could see you at odds, you know, with your own law. I mean, when you look at what's happening in America at the moment with the gun control and stuff, this could be, you know, something of that sort of ilk, and it could escalate to the point where, you know, you find yourself at opposite ends of the spectrum with the law that is in place in the place that you find yourself. If this is the case, find some way of expressing your beliefs that is positive, especially if you find yourself in someone else's lands. That's going to be the key. Yeah, this can be a truly life-enhancing transit that will grow you by your interaction with people who can teach you about yourself through and by difference of understanding, meaning and outlooks on life. And that is the long and short of it. You know, you are about to go through this massive evolution of self, and you're going to do so by seeing yourself in the mirror of the world. And that, you know, is absolutely beautiful, because it means there's a lot of travel in it for you. And who doesn't like seeing new places? So it says a 7-year transit. Let's see what the years ahead have in store for you. I would like to bless these cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So the first year, look at that. I mean, I love the way that the cards and the astrology are marrying up in these videos. I mean, if you ever get bored and you think, oh, well, I've seen, you know, my own sun, moon and rising, watch some of the others, ones, you know, for friends and families, and see how it plays out for them. And the reason I say that is because the first year for you, you get the 3 of Pentacles. The 3 of Pentacles is about study. It's about academic learning. It's about structured academic learning. It sees you going to school. It sees you taking on a short course. It sees you going to college, university. It sees you putting yourself in the learning seat by choice and choosing to take on different ideas, different methodologies, different understandings and beliefs. And it sees you asking to be taught. It sees you asking for knowledge, seeking knowledge. So the first year of this transit is going to see you like a sponge. You're just going to want to know everything about everything. And you will find yourself being drawn to some type of study. And you will excel at it as well. I mean, this is the perfect transit for those of you that are of age. If you see, or if you decide to take yourself to college or university, or, you know, whatever it's called in your country of origin, I mean, this could see you, you know, going beyond a degree and going for a doctorate. You know, this could see you, for those of you that have already studied a degree, this could see you, you know, going, for a doctorate. And it could see for those of you that have already got a doctorate going for, you know, what's even above that, you know, looking to become a professor, etc. The second year of this transit, you've got the Star card. It's really interesting because the Star card has popped up in pretty much all of them so far. And it's really interesting because obviously Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, and the Star card represents Aquarius. Astrology is going to become a big thing going forward. The 9th house, they say, is the house of astrology because it's a higher wisdom, it's a higher understanding, it's a higher octave. But Aquarius is also the sign of astrology. So it's got that sort of double meaning, which is amazing. So the second year of this transit, it sees you very hopeful. It also says that the learning that you do now, the learning that you commit yourself to in the first year of this transit will follow you and colour and shape the next 17 to 21 years of your life. This isn't just something that you're learning for a year, it's something that you're learning for life that's going to give you a completely different outlook. And the star card is, like I said, it represents Aquarius, and Aquarius is all to do with the group, it's all to do with higher wisdom in terms of the upper echelons of thinking. It's about elevated thought, about elevated consciousness. So this sees you really tapping into that. For some of you, this directly sees you studying astrology over the next 2 years. For the third year of this transit, you get the ace, the King of Swords, an air sign male. So this could be an Aquarius, a Libra, or a Gemini. Now, the interesting thing is, because it falls right next to the star card, I'm going to go straight to Aquarius and say an Aquarian male in the third year of this transit is going to be quite influential and quite helpful in your life. So when this represents a person that isn't an archetype of ourselves, this is like a lawyer, a doctor. This is somebody that is, very educated, somebody that's very smart, somebody that's very intelligent, somebody that has their own status, and somebody that's achieved their own status and has nothing to prove to anybody. This is somebody that's really quite forthright and sharp, especially with their tongue and their wit, but they're also very fair and very just. And this could see, that person coming into your life in the third year of the transit, but it could also see an aspect of you becoming a master. Now, the interesting thing is, 1, 2, 3, the third year, this could see you graduating from university or college if you're that age, or you're going back to school. This could see you graduate with the highest mark that you could possibly get. This could see you walking out of your degree if you're in the UK with a 2.2. If you're, in America, I think it's like a 4.0 GPA or whatever. It's that kind of, when you get out the other side of the study that you embark on, you come out at the top of your class. Really, really amazing. The fourth year, this tends to be the challenge year, so it'll be interesting what comes up. Sees you looking at the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles is the process of 1 year, but it's the root powers of Earth. So all of the stuff that you're doing in the first 3 years are very much to do with the mind. They're very much to do with they're very much to do with the mind. They're very much to do with things that are written, things that are spoken, things that are read, and it's like knowledge that you absorb or give out. The fourth year sees you finding some practical Taurus, fixed earth. It sees you looking for some practical expression of that. It sees you looking for the place that you can demonstrate and expand, and more importantly, impart the knowledge that you've taken on board. This is kind of like, I almost see this like a Lucy moment. If you've seen the film Lucy, she gets to a point of so much power and so much knowledge that she just says, I don't know what to do with it. And he says, pass it on, give it to other people. The first 3 years sees you building and gaining strength and power and understanding of the world. It sees you traveling long distance as well with the star card. I forgot to mention that. For some of you, this will be you traveling abroad. For some of you, this will be you studying abroad. For some of you, it will be you being called abroad by people because they recognize the talent or the depth of your commitment to gaining more information and knowledge. And in the fourth year, it's kind of like, okay, well, I've got all of this knowledge now. What do I do with it? You'll be seeking something, some physical expression of the power that you've gained, of the understanding and knowledge that you've acquired. The fifth year, you will be defending your knowledge and your viewpoint. This is probably where the stuff, like I said, at opposite ends of the spectrum with the law or the status quo or the current understanding or belief. The Seven of Wands talks about taking the moral high ground, because it means you're going to come up against some kind of adversity, and it sees you usually having to defend your viewpoint. The thing with the Seven of Wands is it usually means that you are in the right, but you will have to defend that, and you will have to demonstrate and prove how you are in the right. So the challenge that's going to come with this is, it's like you might be in the right, but if you go in there effing and blinding and, kicking off or fighting people are just going to look at you and say, well, so what if you're in the right? Look at how you behave. And this is where the higher octaves of thought, the higher wisdom and philosophy come in. There's no point in gaining all of this knowledge and sharing it with people just to be seen as a crackpot. It would be a waste, actually, of all the effort that you've put in. The 6th year of this transit sees you putting yourself out there on the stage. It sees you finding some way of talking about what you do, but it also sees you taming your emotions. The Strength card is ruled by Leo, and it talks very much, because Leo is about presenting yourself, but it talks about your heart, it talks about your courage, it talks about having the strength to stand for what you believe in. It talks about defending your viewpoint with passion. It talks about karma, and having the understanding that some things you are just going to have to let slide because you don't have control over them now. But through soft and gentle behaviour, you can tame the wild beast. And if you look at her on that card, in the Strength card, she's taming the lion. And she does it. She's closing the lion's mouth with just the easiest of touches, with no fear, with no bold demonstration of strength or anything. She just does it with gentleness. And this, for me, this card is always represented, because Leo, the lion, the heart, and the spine, it represents you taming. They say your heart is a wild creature, that's why it's kept in a rib cage. This, to me, sees you taming your heart, and by taming your heart, I actually mean taming your emotions. When you can tame your emotions and channel that emotional energy into something positive, when you can direct it, you can truly affect change, and you can make the kind of changes that this higher understanding and wisdom seems to be leading you towards. And then finally, the 7th year of this transit, the culmination experience. Oh, I mean, look at that. Could it be any more? Look at that. Sagittarius, Virgo, you get the Sun card. You get beauty, you get joy, you get happiness, you get understanding, you get the purest of wisdom, you get purity itself. The Sun was known as God in all of the oldest religions, as you are about to understand. Really interesting, because you got the Leo card there, and then you get the Sun card in culmination. This is about you really discovering the true meaning of life, maybe just for yourself, and so what? Even if it is just, finding the true meaning of life for yourself. That's what we're all here for, right? And this says that over the next 7 years, you're going to find your purpose. You're going to find the reason that you came into this manifest reality. You're going to find the reason that you have gone through these challenges, that you've had to endure such big sweeping changes. You're going to find the reason, and you're going to take it out there into the world on a practical every single day level. But yeah, the Sun is optimism, joy, happiness, beauty, abundance. It's loving life for the sake of loving life, and finding, like I said, the culminating experience is you finding the true meaning of life for yourself. And you can't ask for any more than that. Virgo, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know how this plays out for you. Like I said, this is a 7-year transit. Dip back into this video. Don't just watch it once and forget about it, because we're talking about 7 years here. This for me is research. It's research on tarot. It's research on astrology. I want to know how this shapes up for people. I want to know what it comes to mean for you. I want to know you know, how it works, what the, you know, I want to get the nitty gritty of it. That's really, really important for me. And also, like I said, it's a 7-year transit. This isn't just going to happen on the 15th and then that's it done. This is big, big stuff. Let me know how it plays out for you. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you feel like this video has helped you in any way, shape or form, you can donate to the channel on the link below. We would be eternally grateful for it. Have an amazing, amazing rest of May and June, and let me know how this plays out for you. And like I said, this is a long transit. Don't just watch it once and forget it.